Girls are allowed to have their tits out in public, but you don't see a lot of them doing it, which is kind of messed up, because if you don't use your rights, you lose them, ladies, but I guess you don't care. But they do always have that conversation, right? They're like, should girls be allowed to breastfeed in public? And I guess some people are like, no, and some guys are like, you can squirt it on me for all I care. Yeah, I think girls should be allowed to breastfeed wherever they want, but I also do think if the baby's full, you should have to offer the rest to any guys that are thirsty in the vicinity, because there's kids starving in Africa. Do you remember parents used to say that? There's kids starving in Africa, you gotta eat your food. African kids love it when you finish your food. It's like their favorite thing, right? They get stoked. They're like, yes, I knew we could do it. And they get pissed when you don't finish. They're like, what the hell? Not even the broccoli? Oh. Do you remember you used to have all those commercials for starving African kids? You don't see them anymore because we solved it by eating our vegetables, so congratulations. Yeah. No, it didn't help, but it kind of felt like it did a little bit, right? It's kind of like going up to a homeless guy and you're like, really good news. I'm using every room in my house. There was an empty room, but I put an office there in solidarity. There will be no waste in the Long household. But most guys aren't gonna look if a girl's breastfeeding. Sometimes they're making a bit of a show of it, though, right? No? Well, I don't know if you know, on YouTube, there's all these like tutorials for breastfeeding to help new mothers. 12 million views on these videos, right? Probably just 12 million new mothers, right? That's probably most likely what that is. 12 million new mothers leaving comments like, wish I was the baby. Like, yeah. He's a thirsty boy, isn't he? Save some for Doug. There's 0 channels where it's a dude doing like a testicular cancer exam. And 12 million women are like, do the left one. Yeah, don't forget the left ball. Vagina's just worth more than dick. That's simple arithmetic. Girls can sell their used panties on the internet for thousands of dollars just because it touched your vagina. That's crazy, right? Everything a dick touches is immediately worth less money. That is a fact. Watch, give me your drink. I'll do a demonstration. The devaluing power. Algorithms are a little on dudes' asses right now, though. You know, they'll just send you pictures of naked girls all day long when you're scrolling, and if you stutter with your finger, the algorithm is like, you are the titty man for the rest of your life. And then your girl's like, why is your phone all hot chicks? And you're like, I'm being fucking set up here, man. Mark Zuckerberg's out to get me! In real life, a girl doesn't walk by with her tits out, you take a peek, and for the rest of the day, she's everywhere. I'm at the bank, and I take a break. You looked once, you'll look forever! Trying to get dudes off the conspiracy videos, that's what's happening. They see you looking at MK Ultra late at night, they're like, send in the titties. Close up this third eye. What's the Federal Reserve been up to? Titties. You can't have flat earth, but you can have round tits. That's the algorithm saying to you. That's how they keep you depressed. I don't know if you know that, but the depression rate's like super high here. In China, it's like 4% because slave labor cures depression. They don't want you to know that, but no, it is high here though. I saw a commercial for a depression medication and the side effects were suicidal thoughts, so it's not a great product, you know? All right, what if it doesn't work? They're like, well, just say you won't be depressed one way or the other after you take it. You can't have a side effect that's worse. That's like me, oh, we have a medication for CTE and the side effects are you might beat your wife more. It's worse. That's like if you went to get the vaccine for COVID. Well, that's a bad example because that one's perfect, but there are potentially Oh God, now they're sending me titties again. This is what happens. These algorithms. I think the best thing that dudes did politically, though, was convincing activist chicks, if you really care about the cause, you should pull your tits out of the rally. Good work, fellas. We're like, pull the tits out. And they're like, we don't want to. We're like, someone doesn't care about Palestine. As much as she claims to on the internet. Remember they used to have Girls Gone Wild? I feel like new Girls Gone Wild as they go to college campuses and they're like, ladies, pull your tits out. They're like, we don't want to. They go, they're fracking over there. They go, what the hell? Ladies, they're getting rid of maternity leave in Arkansas. They go, not if we can help it. Did I solve it? Yeah, it's solved. I feel like vegans are the most hated activist group. Vegans get so much shit. People will be like, fuck you, you're like the pedophile. They're like, behind him, there's a vegan. They're not well liked. And some of their stuff isn't even that crazy. They're like, we shouldn't boil lobsters alive. And we're like, we're boiling them. You're like, why? It tastes 1% better. I have a friend who's a chef, and he goes, well, the lobster can't really feel it. You look at the pan, the lobster's like, ah! That one can feel it a little bit. My favorite is just like the no accountability activism though. Like, so I don't know if you guys know the girls from Playboy, they have like this podcast where they drop these truth bombs and they'll be like, you guys might not realize this, but Hugh Hefner was a misogynist. And you're like, what the? You're like, how long did you work there? 35 years. I guess a little bit girls can kind of talk shit about dudes on the internet and get us in trouble, but maybe that's payback for we used to get to call girls witches, just have you burned at the stake, you know? The good old... No, I'm just joking. And by the way, that would be the worst time to be a girl, because girls love witch stuff, right? Crystals, astrology, potions, candles... Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Twilight, brooms. It's like all of your favorite things. They love it. Like, what's your astrology sign? You'd be dead for knowing that back in the day. Back in the day, a girl would be on a date like, oh, I should tell you the moon's actually in retrograde. And we'd be like, oh, crazy. You should actually tell the judge, bitch, because your burning starts at dusk. A terrible time to be a witch. Crystals are my favorite. There was a girl on tour, she was selling crystals, and she goes, these are finance crystals, they make you rich. And we're like, crazy, well, you actually have a whole bucket of them, and your job is right now selling rocks. So, are you kind of just not using them, sort of thing? It's like a homeless guy under a bridge, like, this is my owning a duplex, crystals. Why don't you own one? Can't get high in your own supply, brother. That's the first rule of crystals. I don't know if you guys remember, but Tom Brady, when he won the Super Bowl, his wife Giselle at the time said one of the reasons he won is because she has these protection crystals that keep him safe. To the point where he was doing interviews being like, when I won the Super Bowl, oh, I'm so sorry, babe, when we won the Super Bowl... And I feel like girls say they believe in protection crystals, but if a guy was like, listen, I don't have a condom, but the good news, I have this protection crystal. I won't be able to walk you home, but I put a protection crystal in your purse. And you are gonna want that, because some of the neighborhood guys also do crystal. So, you're going to want that. And then Tom Brady's wife, she lost all her money in crypto too. And it was like, ladies, you don't get to be into girl crystals and guy crystals, you know what I mean? That's our crystal. Every guy puts 30% of his money in crypto, loses it, and that's how we close the wage gap. You're welcome. Does solve everything. Any crypto dudes here? Anyone lose money in crypto here? We're back a little bit though, right, boys? I feel like every guy's primed to just lose money on crypto and gambling. You know, like even fairy tales girls get versus guys. Girl fairy tales like Little Red Riding Hood, trust this wolf, and the moral of the story is don't trust strangers. Dude fairy tales, Jack and the Beanstalk. That is a cryptocurrency fairy tale. Jack's gonna put his money into this magic bean, but all the haters tell him not to. But Jack's not a pussy, so Jack don't listen to the FUD, and he apes the fuck in, and that beanstalk goes to the moon. What's up, you trying to be Jack, or you trying to be the bean, bitch? You're like, I'm Jack, I'm not a bean.